everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Becca. I'm going to be doing another food video because it's what I love doing. I wanted to make a big compilation of all the meals that are go-tos for our family. We have been eating them for years now, and they're just all around hearty, wholesome, plant-based meals that we really love, and I just wanted to share them with you. So I was going to do a full week's worth of 7 whole meals, but this week has been a whirlwind. It was my son's 2nd birthday, and a lot of these meals actually make so much food that we just didn't need that much. And so I've actually cut it down to 5. I can always make more videos in the future. If you want more up-to-date what's happening in our lives and a lot more of what we eat, then definitely go check me out on Instagram because I post all the time. So let's get right into the meals. For this first meal, we're going to be making dumplings. Now, you can make this so much easier on yourself and just buy a freezer bag of dumplings, but we like to make things from scratch over here. I will also have the full recipes on how to make all of these down in the description box below. So starting out, you dice up your onion and then shred up a couple of carrots. You want everything to be really nice and small so it cooks up evenly and quickly. Next, we just had a couple mushrooms on hand, so we dice those up. Then we shredded some ginger into the mix. To a hot wok or skillet, go ahead and start sauteing your onions and then add your mushrooms and carrots and ginger. While that's going, chop up your cabbage. We had both green and red, and so we just chopped them both up. The cabbage is what gives the dumplings their bulk and also really good flavor, so we add a lot of cabbage because it makes a lot of dumplings. Add all of that to your skillet. Go ahead and dump just a little bit of soy sauce and rice vinegar to give it all flavor while it's cooking together. We had a bunch of chives, so we chopped those up and added it as well. You want to cook it only until it starts to get soft, not overly cooked, because they will get cooked again in dumpling form. The other really nice thing about buying these from the freezer section is that you don't have to deal with this cleanup because it is something else. Sometimes we do like to make our own dumpling wrappers, but it is just an extra step and it's not that hard, but it just saves time and energy. The next step is probably the longest part of this all, is filling all these beautiful dumplings. You have to hand fill them, hand seal them, hand crimp them. Heat up some oil in a skillet, put some in. I probably overcrowded mine, but I was hungry. So then you just kind of pan fry them until the bottoms get nice and golden. Add some water and then quickly put the lid over top. This is called pan frying, and it just makes the dumplings so incredible. Chewy, delicious, crispy. Oh. We could have just stopped there, but we wanted to make a nice miso soup to put the dumplings in. It's such a simple extra little step, but it just makes the meal so much better. Top with some sesame seeds, and then we also wanted to make a little side salad. Oh, you took it out! This little side salad came together so fast. It's just diced bell pepper, some diced up cucumber, and then some edamame. Mix it in a bowl and then just add some dressings. Honestly, didn't measure these. I added about a teaspoon of maple syrup, teaspoon of sesame oil, about a tablespoon of rice vinegar, a glug of sriracha, however much you prefer, a tablespoon of soy sauce, just a healthy sprinkle of sesame seeds, and then some chives that we had left over from the dumplings. And then I had the quick idea of adding some seaweed, and so I just crumbled that into the bowl and mixed it all up, and it was a delicious, light, fresh side salad, and it was so good with the dumplings. Absolutely 10 out of 10 meal right here. So good, and we could not wait to eat the leftovers the next day. Time for the taste test. That's pretty good.
The struggle bunny came to town.
Are you struggling there? Next dinner we had was sourdough bagels. Again, make your life so much easier and just go to the store and buy yourself some bagels. But lucky for me, my husband really enjoys baking and he is an expert at sourdough. So he made these sourdough bagels for us, and it's impossible not to devour them really quickly. So we had to have some for dinner this day.
Ta-da.
So we built our sandwiches with an egg each. And then spread a generous amount of pesto because pesto is incredible. Mash in some perfect avocado, sprinkle some salt and pepper, chopped up sun-dried tomatoes, just a drop of hot sauce, topped with some rocket, and then I served it up on the side with veggies because I couldn't be bothered to make anything else. Again, another 10 out of 10 meal, and this one is so easy and so delicious. If you want to make it 100% plant-based, obviously you can just forego the egg. How's your food? Oh my goodness, this is incredible. The next meal that we had this week were black bean and cumera enchiladas. This is another super simple meal, but it does take a little bit more time. So first you just dice up your onion and then your cumera, and then just saute them both in a big pot. Gotta compost. Just kidding. Now we're gonna make our enchilada sauce. I don't know why I'm talking. So again, you can make your life so much easier just by buying enchilada sauce, or we also used to make this with tomatillo sauce, but we haven't found any tomatillas here in New Zealand. Instead, we just make our own enchilada sauce. It's not that hard, but it does add an extra step that I wouldn't advise unless you really like making stuff from scratch. You're essentially just making a simple roux with Mexican spices, so really not hard. I went ahead and made up a big Instant Pot full of black beans because I knew that we would eat off of this for the whole week. So once your cumera is nice and soft, go ahead and add your black beans and then mash it all together, and this makes up the filling. Add a little bit of your sauce to the bottom of your baking dish to prevent sticking, and then you just fill up your pack of tortillas with the filling. Just layer them through the dish. It usually works out perfectly for us because we get one pack of 15 tortillas and it uses them all up and makes a ton of meals for us. And then lastly, you just pour the rest of the sauce on top. We never buy foil. We had this little bit given from somebody and so we used it. Didn't quite cover the whole thing, but it worked. Next step is you just throw it in the oven until they are nice and crispy. We like to make a simple cashew cream sauce with soaked cashews, lime, garlic, and salt. The easy version would just be buying some sour cream. Maybe a minute overdone, but let's be real, it's just extra flavor. We also like to make a super simple guacamole, just red onions, salt, lime, mash it up, and it makes a delicious little side sauce to these enchiladas. This meal is so incredible, and the other really nice thing is that it makes so much that we eat it for like 3 or 4 meals. One of the best meals ever. Today we are going to be making quinoa chili. Again, super staple in our house because it's mostly pantry goods. So it's really good at the end of the grocery week when you're running out of things. It's also really good user-up meals, I like to call them, because you can throw in some really weird stuff in there and you can't tell because it's just a chili. So you can throw in lots of sad little veggies and it uses them up. Less food waste. So I'm gonna get started. I already prepped all the veggies just to save some time, but I am going to throw all my good veggie scraps into my broth bag in the freezer. Looks like it's time to make some more. Okay, let's go. Today I have the more traditional quinoa chili veggies, but feel free to add whatever you have in your fridge that might possibly go along with it. This is a very forgiving meal. And then my pantry goods all up here. Oh, I don't have my black beans. There's my beans. Again, these are from the Instant Pot beans that I made earlier in the week, and we just keep using them until they are all used up. I'm not oil free, but sometimes I do like to cook without oil if I can get away with it. So I just sauteed my onions and celery and bell pepper in some water because it does the same thing for this meal. Then I add my can of diced tomatoes. And then this is my veggie broth that I make from veggie scraps. And then I just add my 1.5 cups of rinsed quinoa. I have 2 different colors in here. It doesn't really matter. This time I added a can of kidney beans and then my black beans. I could not open this can of beans.
I can't.
All your strength, all your muscles.
The hands are.
Ancient technique. Getting scared there. Right back at it. Add about a can's worth of black beans to your mix. Give it a good stir, and then go ahead and add all of your spices. So I just did a few sprinkles of chili powder, a few sprinkles of smoked paprika, a lot of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, and a lot of cracks of pepper. Give it all a really good stir, make sure it's on medium-high heat, and then cover it with a lid and let it cook. One of the reasons I love this meal so much is that it is so hands-off, so while it's cooking, I have a chance to clean my whole kitchen. Oh, goody. So depending on the kind of quinoa you use, it should take about 15 minutes until it's all the way through. So just check your quinoa. If it's done, then it's done. Go ahead and plate it up. We like to serve it with some avocado and then whatever other things you have on hand, like green onions, red onions, some chips, some sour cream, vegan or not. It smells so good. So easy. Really hot. It'll probably also last another good 2 meals because it makes a giant pot. You love the camera so much. Carrot. Next day, last meal. This is a Thai yellow curry. We make this all the time. I oversimplify it and put too many veggies in every single time, which makes it a little bit less delicious, but I can't eat this meal enough. So I've already prepped all of the veggies, so that's already out of the way. I can just get to making it. I have a little helper here today because it's just me and him, so. Oh my goodness, yeah, you know you're cute. So last comment I'll make is that this is the kind of curry paste that I use. I just get it from an Asian market. It is vegan, so that's nice. I'm going to be using veggie broth and coconut cream because I just find that that makes it a really good thick consistency without it being too watered down, but it adds more liquid to the pot. But feel free to use whatever. I know some people use 2 cans of coconut milk. Some people use a can of coconut milk and veggie broth and they don't mind that it's a bit thinner. I'm also sad because we ran out of our homemade veggie broth, so I just used some veggie bouillon and dissolved it in hot water. There's just no way to make this look appetizing at all. I like to use quite a bit of curry paste. Delicious. We'll do one more. Wow. All right, moving on. So in your heated pot, you'll just heat up the curry paste for a couple minutes until it's nice and fragrant and warmed up. Then go ahead and add your can of coconut milk or cream. Give it a good stir to get it all combined and then just let it cook over a medium heat for a while. Then after a couple minutes, go ahead and add your veggie broth. Another couple of hints to make this a really good curry. I do half of a block or disc of palm sugar and then a healthy little drizzle of soy sauce. This is to help try and replace the fish sauce that goes in most actual yellow Thai curries. With this kind of curry, I never let it get above a medium heat. I like to do a nice slow cook. Woohoo! I could drink this stuff, it is so good. I like the curry sauce to be almost too flavorful at this point because it gets diluted with all of the veggies and it being over rice. So if it's a little strong for you at this point, that is okay. Now I'm just adding the veggies that take a bit longer to cook, which are the potatoes and cauliflower. Check your potatoes every 5 minutes, and once they start to get soft, then is the time to go ahead and add the other veggies. You don't want them to be too soft at this point or else they'll just turn into mush by the time the other veggies are done cooking. So now I'm just adding the rest of my veggies, my 2 carrots, my diced block of tofu, and my half of white onion diced. Give it all a really good stir to make sure it's incorporated and then cover it with the lid. Looks like I got around to cleaning my pot finally. After adding those last veggies in, I like to start my rice at this point. Totally goofed. I usually do red Thai rice and we had some, but for some reason my brain just forgot, and so I made basmati rice, which is also fine. Also important to stir really carefully so that you don't just crumble and break apart all of your tofu bits. So again, I feel like I'm like cheating or something by having such simple meals, but this comes together so easily and fairly quickly. It's ready once all of the veggies are nice and soft, but still have a little bit of bite to them. Once it's at that point, you just serve it up and eat it. I've said this a lot, but this is hands down one of my very favorite meals. So I hope everybody gives it a try. Okay, time for the taste test. It's still really hot, but I'm gonna go for it anyways. Absolute perfection. Everything just cooks so slowly for so long that it absorbs all the flavor. The tofu gets so good. Potatoes, so soft and delicious. Oh, I love this meal so much. And then, of course, like with most of our meals, it makes a giant pot so we can eat on it for a few days. Okay, I'm done. So these are very typical meals that happen around here. Some kind of curry, some kind of Mexican-inspired burritos, taco salad, whatever. Oh, burritos was another one that was on the list for this week. We will have it tomorrow because it will use up the last of those cooked black beans that I made. And I actually already have a video describing in detail how to make it. And so I'll just put a link to that. And then if you're interested, you can go watch it. But that was our next meal that we were going to make if we had more time for this week's video. Well, thank you guys for coming along with me into my kitchen with me and my little family. I have been thinking about making a website for quite some time now, but I've been dragging my feet because I feel like it's something that nobody will want or use. So if that is something that you want to see, then let me know because it might encourage me to actually getting around and doing it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being here with me and for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!